to go ahead and start. Basically, I want to welcome everyone to the Field Mobility webinar, which is focused on the HVAC and plumbing industry today. My name is Lynn Johnson. I'm with L-Tron, and I'm going to be hosting today's event. We appreciate your interest and hope you find the information educational and it proves to be a positive impact on your business. Our goal is really to provide you with perspective in this emerging marketplace. Okay, so we have a full agenda, and we begin with an introduction of our industry speaker and his insight on field mobility within the HVAC and plumbing industry. I would also like to introduce several folks from L-Tron who will be participating on our panel during the Q&A at the end of the program. Lino Contestable, our CTO, as well as Donella Pogue, our field mobility marketing specialist, who has been gathering information from folks in your field for the last couple of months, and we'll hear from her perspective as well. We're going to end the event with announcing the winner of our 30-minute free consultation with L-Tron. And just before we start, I wanted to go through a couple of housekeeping items. We will have everyone on mute during the session, and we encourage you to type in questions throughout the session, which we will address during the Q&A. And you can also hide your control panel by clicking on the orange button with the white arrow on the top of the screen if you would like. This session is going to be recorded and will be available after the event on the L-Tron website. Okay. Basically, L-Tron partners with some of the top companies in the world, and we're very pleased to present Kevin Lair with Honeywell, who has over 20 years of experience with field mobility. Kevin has experience in automatic identification and data collection in a whole host of industries, and he's going to be sharing with us his insight in the next half hour or so. With that, I will turn it over to you, Kevin.
Well, thanks, Lynn, and thanks to everybody who's joining us this morning. I know that as the owners and operators of small businesses, your time is extremely valuable, so we certainly appreciate you giving us a half an hour of your day to talk about mobility solutions. So real quickly, over the past 20 years, I've been involved in quite a number of mobility projects, not only within the HVAC and plumbing industry, but also across the services industry as a whole. And I'll tell you that over the myriad of projects and automation implementations I've seen, two things tend to stand out, and that's how much a successfully implemented mobility project impacts all of your employees within a company, from the president on down, through the time savings involved in performing, the business operations through an automated system, the reduced errors, the increased accuracy, and really it's an overall lowering of the business, some of the business pain points and business stress that your techs can have, doing things manually that they would prefer to do through an automated solution, and how important the real-time communication of worker status has become, really to differentiating yourself from your competitor and providing that higher level of customer service. I will tell you that service automation may not be for everyone, but it is for those companies who are very serious about lowering their costs and going to the next level of customer service. And it's really the most cost-effective way with the quickest return on investment to automate. So the screen you see in front of you here is a quote from the Aberdeen Group, and what the Aberdeen Group is a consulting firm who's benchmarked the performance of over 500,000 companies worldwide. And then they sit around and think about those things and look at the studies and how automation processes can influence the operations of companies across multiple industry sectors, including HVAC and plumbing. And in one survey, the one that's mentioned here on the slide, they actually talked to over 200 service provider professionals who currently use field service automated applications and handhelds, and found that on average, when the company extends its back office business logic, business processes to the field techs and field reps, your customer-facing folks, which really is what mobility is all about. A 17% gain in service profitability was realized after the implementation. Now it also says, you'll notice it says convenient and well-integrated workflows, and that's very key. It's critical, you know, that like most other things that can impact your business, a mobility solution is kept simple, matches your current business logic and your operations and your processes, and that you really never try to bite off more than you can chew, even though it may sound great. I've seen companies try to implement mobility projects and really can get themselves into a situation that they wish they weren't. That's why it's so very critical to use professionals and industry experts who have done this before, so you don't get on the bleeding edge. You're on the leading edge of technology, and you can actually check out this.
You know what I love about this this slide is that it shows. I mean, I talk to people every day in HVAC and plumbing, and their concern is, oh, with the economy, I have to be careful. I'm not sure I can afford to do it right now. But when we talk about 17% gains in profitability, you can't afford not to do it right now. You know, when you're in a place where you have fewer field technicians than normal, you know, you're trying to work on less. This right here says it all. That really right now is the time to look into this.
Well, and that's a very good point, and it's because of the you know, with the implementation of a mobility project and automating a lot of your operations, can come a reduction in the costs associated with things like labor, asset tracking, truck tracking, keeping track of your inventory and your parts, and then of course the all-important fuel costs as well. That's really key. And then revenues, along with the cost savings, revenues can increase with the improved customer service. The more customer face time that your reps have, and then the ability to do cross-selling and upselling, more accurate invoices, more accurate time frames to provide that customer service. Like I say, you can go to Aberdeen.com, and it really does have a lot of interesting reading and information on the services industry and how those things are impacted through automation and other areas. So, okay.
Thanks, Kevin. We're actually going to take a poll of the audience at this time. And basically, we're interested to find out what level, where would you rate yourself in field mobility? So everybody can go ahead. You know, give it another 30 seconds or so. We're just about there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close. It looks like everybody's voted. And it looks like there's the highest would be there's some basic field mobility. So that's interesting. It's kind of where I figured we'd end up. And some folks have not, they're just beginning to look at this and adopting it for their business. So very interesting information.
It's funny because the people that I've been talking to, this really kind of shows a lot of my concerns when I talk to people in this industry, because I think a lot of times they maybe aren't really clear on what field mobility can do for them. Like they think maybe it's, some people think it's a smartphone that would give them an email while they're on their job site. But one thing Kevin just mentioned very quickly on the last slide was upselling. And I think in HVAC a lot of times you think, well, they're service, they're not sales, there's no upselling. But when you have your procedures laid out in a field mobility device, you can actually pull up something that reminds the technician to ask them to purchase a service warranty. So your service warranty sales can increase because they're prompted to do it. You know that certain procedures are followed on every call. So really there's just so much more than emails or just a few different things. There's a lot that can be done with field mobility, and that's really kind of why we developed this webinar, so Kevin could kind of introduce some of the other things that could be done.
Exactly.
Thanks,
so let's take a quick look at you know, a day in the life of plumbing HVAC field service technician and some of the impact areas that mobility and automated solution can impact your business and some of the benefits it can provide. So, what happens currently when a customer calls you? Is it a critical call? Is it an urgent system down call, or is it to schedule a preventative maintenance call? If it is critical, how accurate can you be on the time window of service provided to your customer? And that's really becoming more and more important nowadays. Your customer base is certainly becoming more tech savvy, and they expect a tighter time window of service. And really the only way to do that nowadays is with some type of real-time connectivity, real-time communications. And you don't want your customer to call somebody else if it is a critical system down type of call, because the other guy can provide a higher level of service than you can. That's really obviously certainly key. And also a higher level of service and professionalism for the critically sensitive occurrences can certainly increase your customer retention, which is very important. And while in front of the customer can, that was mentioned, allow your tech to sell contracts and other services that might be available. It's giving your customer a comfort level with the level of your tech's professionalism and accuracy, and really providing value and service for their dollars, particularly nowadays. So how do you track your business from the beginning to an end during a service call? What about an ability to lower your costs through better tracking of assets, through better tracking of labor? What about lowering your DSO through immediate billing? An automated mobility solution can certainly allow you to accept credit cards, for example, with immediate authorization, which may be something you currently can't do now. So instead of taking a check, you could take a credit card. Field service technicians can send completed work orders and payment information real time, and then also receive open work orders or changes, dynamic changes that a stop that may occur, so you can do dynamic scheduling and routing immediately with an automated solution. And your techs can also access customer information and history, maybe schematics for new techs who may not have the experience, or new unfamiliar pieces of the HVAC system, and then also as a communication device, probably what you're doing now with some of the smartphones via voice, and also messaging to other techs, and also to management personnel. So that's just kind of some of the top hit areas for where automation will hit your business processes. Okay, go ahead and go to the next slide.
Thanks, Kevin.